Welcome to the Limelight. It's Thursday, which means it's time for us to highlight new releases, can't-miss books, and the authors making waves. We're bringing you the stories you'll want to add to your TBR immediately. So grab a drink and let's dive in.
Welcome to this week's episode of Margs and Manuscripts, The Limelight. We have Emily, or E.L. Kaltenberg, the author of The Care and Feeding of Dead Mothers. Just as dark and twisty as it sounds, and we're so excited to talk to her. It's the perfect book to get you in the mood for the spooky season. So it follows a disgraced author hiding out in the Wisconsin Northwoods. So you know this is right up my alley too. And her past that she has spent years trying to bury deep down comes crawling back to find her. So if you love sharp objects, if you love anything by Alice Feeney, stick around. This one's for you.
The book is basically following this author, Margot, who's in her late 50s. She has this career that's been thriving for 20 plus years. And then she has an event. Chapter 1 basically starts with fraudulent accusations. And at that point, she had been living in the cities in Manhattan. And with this specific event, I think she finally had this moment of, I need to move home. So she moves back to Wisconsin, like Northwoods. And that's where she's been for the last 5 years. The book follows present day, like this little recluse of a woman who is trying to put her writing career back together. And then her sister, who is this estranged, they don't have a great relationship, tries to come back into the picture. I don't want to say too much because that would definitely spoil a few bits. So yes, we basically get to follow Margot's journey with her and her deranged sister, her husband, and her sick mother. Hence where the care and feeding of dead mothers comes from. There is what might feel like a paranormal element, but it's definitely more psyche. There was a lot I wanted to put in book 1, but I couldn't. So I have to do book 2 to close a few loops.
I love that.
Like, so that's the gist.
So it's essentially dark and twisty.
Yeah, there is
in the Northwoods.
There is like long buried trauma. The first thought that came to mind when I thought about this book was, what if I write a story about this author who goes a little crazy and her characters like start haunting her? And my husband's like, yeah, like they're pissed off with their ending and they want her to fix it. I was like, all right, that's where we started off. It doesn't necessarily follow that premise all that well. But yes, in a sense, some of these characters come back in a way of forcing her to handle some shit that she's buried for a long time. So, I
don't know about you, Cait, but I love dark, twisty, and a bit off kind of books. So this sounds delightful.
Well, yes. Good. I'm glad.
Yeah, this is right up Jenna's alley for sure. I am really excited for you. Where do you what? I have so many questions. Where do you go? Like, how do you get inspired to write that? Like, and I know Jenna's similar, where she writes like dark things you have to think about really hard to come up with
I honestly
that it comes
I
out.
Was very early pregnant with our second, and we were out for a walk with our toddler, and I'm like, what if? And I don't know, it just popped up, and I started thinking about it. And my husband does a great job, Michael, of helping me talk through some of this stuff. So I initially had a thought of where I wanted it to go, and he's like, oh, like Tyler Durden. And I'm like, huh? Apparently it had been a very long time since I had seen Fight Club because the reference didn't click. I was like, apparently I got to add that to my research and go back and rewatch that because I don't know what you're talking about. He's a big movie guy, so a lot of times he's watching Dad outside right now.
Mm-hmm.
He he has a lot of movie references. So that's how he'll try and help me work through or connect dots, I guess, of like what it is I'm trying to do. Does that make sense?
Absolutely. Like talking it out
He
is
loves to talk through some of the like weird fine bits of it.
yes.
I know, fast forward into like middle writing scenes when I'm trying to write a murder scene, which is not in the book. I will tell everybody now, it's not in the book. I Googled, which probably put me on a list immediately,
We talk
the
about that a
best
lot.
time of year to drown a body in Wisconsin. And then, of course, I Google, does February work for a good time to drown a body in Wisconsin?
It's a valid
And Michael,
question.
like,
Is it?
a fish auger, right? To like grind
Yeah.
up a hole. And he's like, Emily, what human body is going to fit through a hole this big? I said, well, can't I just make a few holes? No. What about an ice pick? You will freeze to death using an ice pick before you get that dead body in the ice.
What about just like a weak spot in the ice?
Well, so that's where he's like, okay, now here's the thing. You need to find somewhere along the the river that runs through, you need to find a river spot in Wisconsin. So go find a city that is near the river, because the Wisconsin River doesn't freeze in Wisconsin.
Mm-mm.
Like, it is, you'll have ice patches, but it is a flowing river year round, which is why a lot of eagles flock over here, because they have an endless supply of food here. So
you got to find the rip. Like, I'm fascinated.
yeah, so we ended up in Mosinee. If Jenna, you know, yeah, well, they got a river flowage spot. He's like, well, do you know what a flowage is? I said, I'm waiting. Please enlighten me. He's like,
So
well,
this is like a geography lesson, essentially.
It's like, it's not a dam, but it's close. Okay. Well, thank you for the update. So yes, that he helps with the logistics of when my idea is not gonna come together. So
Yeah,
needless to say, we did not drown a body in a frozen lake.
I may or may not have had to look up how quickly does a body go into rigor mortis in the dead of winter in a blizzard.
I totally get that.
Yeah.
It makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
So okay, and then so you look at but then what you guys have to do, and like, so then you have to take this information and process this into the plot and like write it out in detail. And then how do you do that? Like, how does your brain work? Like, what? You go to that place in your brain, and it just
everyone has the place. Everyone has it. It's there.
Yeah, I don't know.
Cait, you could write dead bodies if you really wanted.
I'm fascinated by people who can. Like, I think it is like such a talent to
like initially the scene that I had written was the sister. She's like our shapeshifter. We don't really know her game. And some people still are not fully convinced once they finish the story where Eliza sits in all of this. So there, initially the scene I had written was that they were at Margot's new house, which is on this frozen body of water somewhere. And they were having an argument about the fact that you were supposed to be done with Margot. You were supposed to end this. You were supposed to like get her to sign shit over, and we were supposed to move on. And now you're taking her side. So she's like, no, that this is all part of the plan. Okay. She has a glass of whiskey sitting in front of him, and they're like staring out at this massive patio door, like floor to ceiling kind of windows. And she pulls a cast iron from somewhere and whaps him over the head when he's not paying attention. And then she has to like go find the auger, which apparently we realize doesn't work, where she drags him out on a toboggan out to this lake, and then she takes his body and like aggressively throws him back onto the ice, so it looks like he whacked his head on the ice instead of with a skillet.
This is so Wisconsin, you got with the toboggan that's going to the auger, like in Wisconsin, rural Wisconsin.
Dude, you're putting making a murderer to shame. So you're good.
This is the next pride of Wisconsin right here.
Of
That
course, as
sounds
I'm
freaking
talking about a lot
twisty.
of this stuff with my sister-in-law, who's a big reader, like her and I both married into the family. Tracy's got
Okay.
her 2 sons, and she's just sitting there like, I don't know if I should be terrified or like, you two seem way too into this right now. I mean, it's just a book.
It's just a book,
It's
and we
just a
all love a good
story.
scary movie. So why not a scary book?
Yeah.
Was this always a book? Like, was it always your
No.
plan to write this book, or
No.
how did the actual book come to be?
I honestly, I don't even know. I was pregnant through most of it. So
State
I
of
would
delirium.
just sit and like go into this weird state of just like, I don't know. I didn't really do a whole lot of plotting out in the beginning other than like some major beats. I always knew how I wanted it to end, even though I've changed how it ended a few times. I don't know. I truly like this just kind of spilled out somehow. And this wasn't even supposed to be the debut. Like,
Interesting.
yeah, I have a book that's been shelved cuz it's going to be a while if we come back to that one, but it's a ghost story, so some twisted, creepy, paranormal, haunted house shit. Apparently I don't write happy stuff.
I mean, that's okay. We need horror authors. Like, but so I'm so curious, like, what's your publishing experience or journey with this? Like,
It's so I initially found a writing coach. And that's kind of where a lot of this not where it started, where I actually got this book finished. I had found a writing coach that was actually going to work with me on a weekly basis of actually providing resources when I would run into issues. I had worked with others in the past and I'd never felt like I was getting anywhere. They would say, "Oh, join the forum, talk to the people." And it's like crickets. Nobody's ever, you could post a scene in there and be like, "Hey, can I get some feedback?" And one person's like, "Sounds great." Okay.
yeah, it's like I don't know about you guys, but I don't love those groups. That's like the blind leading the blind almost. It's like I came from here for help, but I'm asking people who also came here for the same help for feedback. Like,
Absolutely.
how does that? I know I've been in those groups before, and I'm like, what are we doing, guys?
What are we doing here?
What are we doing? Yeah.
And then, of course, there's people posting like, "Which cover do you like?" They all look the same to me. You added more purple in one and more blue in the other. They're the same goddamn cover. So yeah, I ended up finding a writing coach who has been writing books by herself. She's a ghostwriter. She does a bunch of other stuff. And then she had launched I think it's a early stages kind of project where she took on a handful of people to basically help them go through the process to still be independently published, but she kind of holds your hand through it.
Okay.
So being that she's done Amazon publishing already, she knew the ins and outs of it. She has designers that she's worked for when it comes to cover art. So she had all the people in her corner, which it was you pay me one sum and we'll handle the rest of this stuff for you. And I was like,
Yeah.
Okay.
Easy.
I talked with my husband and I said, "Does this sound like the route we want to go?" And he's like, "I don't see a problem with it." So she has handled a lot of the stuff that I don't really know the first thing about. She said, "What kind of typeset do you want?" And I was like, "What's typeset?" I don't even know what that
Yeah.
is. She's like, "It's formatting. It's just a fancy word for formatting." Okay, well that makes more sense. I don't know.
Yeah.
You tell me what the norm is and I'll probably say go for it.
So when you were working with her, did it feel like you could suddenly see the light of like, oh yeah, this is like a full-blown book now?
I think it was finally when she sent over the cover, I was like, that looks really cool. Still, like, distant, like, okay, it's just pictures. And then I think I had, like, printed off a rough copy through, I think I used Booksby just to, like, do a quick print version of it. It was a very rough copy. Like, it just was very... So I looked at it and I was like, oh, wow, this is actually a book. Like, this is actually a book. We're here. And then when we got to the stages of her, like, tinkering in Amazon and seeing your book is publishing, oh, this is real. This is real. Oh my goodness.
That'll do it.
So it took so long. And honestly, I'm still probably, like, floating in a haze, and I probably will be until I don't know. Like, it doesn't feel real to me most days that I wrote a damn book. Because most people, when you tell them you wrote a book, they're like a book?
Yeah.
Yeah, like a book? Like, what? Did you think I meant something else by that? Yes, I wrote a book.
That's always such a funny conversation to have with people. I feel like it goes two ways. It's either they're always like, I've always had an idea for a book, or they're like,
yes. I get that one a lot.
I've
always wanted to do that
think
too.
it's the coolest. Yeah, exactly. They're like, I've always wanted to do that. Or it's like oh my God, I can't believe you did that. Like, I could never do, like, type of thing.
Yeah.
But in our
I'm not
heads,
that
it's like,
creative.
well, it's just, yeah, like, I'm like, well, it's just something I wanted to do. I don't think about it as, like, this huge accomplishment. And that's why I think even for you in tomorrow to, like, allow yourself to say, fuck yeah. Like, I did
Yes,
it.
you
Like,
did
I'm
it.
here. I get to celebrate it. Yeah. So, like, enjoy it.
Absolutely.
And we're so excited for you to, get this in front of readers and everything. And if you were to, like, compare this to, if you like these kind of books, you'll like this one. What would those be?
My most recent favorite was John Marr's You Killed Me First. This was so good. So good. Following multiple points of view and having very distinct, clear speech patterns. So, like, we're following 3 different women in this book, and you could easily tell between the way that the paragraph would start, you already knew who was talking, because he did such a good job of making each, like, character stand out so much in their dialect or their, like, the way they carry themselves. So I tried to use that as a lot of understanding my voice, and not just mine, but, like, my characters' voices. I like the twist and turn of most psychological thrillers. Lucy Foley, Alice Feeney are gonna be 2 of my top favorites, hands down. I'm trying to think. There was, like, 3 or 4 books that I had related similar to. Now I'm drawing a blank because I can't remember all the ones that I picked. Or
'Cause
what.
we have a tendency of, like, over-reading where everything just blends together.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, Listen for the Lie by Amy Tintera. So good. If you haven't read it, so good. Podcast style, which I do also like. We Were Liars. What I like about that one and this one is the way our minds have a tendency to play tricks on us, and how sometimes our minds will bury certain things in a certain way because of how painful they are, that we just don't even want to, like, we don't want to revisit it. And when you finally do, it's that moment of, this is so incredibly painful. So there are some similarities in that part. Sharp Object.
Ooh, Sharp Objects.
Yes. Sibling dynamic.
Mm-hmm.
Mother dynamic. However, the mother in this story is a bit more compassionate than that mother. There's still
doesn't take much to be more compassionate than that mother.
True. That is very true. One of Us Knows by Alyssa Cole. Again, we're dealing with it doesn't outright say it in the book, but she basically, and we're going to address this in book 2, she has like a dissociative identity issue. So there are moments where she has a dissociative state, and everybody keeps asking me, what happened to Roger? Well, you technically know. You already know. You read what happened to Roger. It's the way that it was written, and I haven't told anybody that yet. So that, like, everybody knows what happened to Roger. They just
Now I
apparently are, like, not.
Okay.
Now I need to read it and find
Heard
out.
it
what
here
happened to
first.
Roger.
So, and
You
then
need that on a sticker. What happened to Roger?
Yeah.
you know, my
know.
girlfriend
That's
told
some
me
merch.
we need that. So I'm in the works of designing that sticker, and we're gonna get a like hashtag Team Margot or something. So that, and then His and Hers by Alice Feeney. A lot of it is coming down to like past trauma and grief and how we handle like the specific events in our lives. So those I think would be like my top 5 similarities. Or if you like those, I feel like you would like this.
Totally. Yeah. Because all of those have like similar themes. And I think what sounds so unique about yours is that it's that moment of like isolation, and then your mind kind of going to a very different side. It's still there. It's always been there, but it just like you're almost like shifting your point of view on your own self.
Yeah.
And anyways, I could like emotionally dissect all of that, but I won't. But so where can people get your book? When, like, what's the date that it comes out and all that stuff?
Launch day started, I guess depends on when people hear this, because podcast and recording, right? The book launch week is August 24th through the 30th. They're going to be doing a big 99-cent ebook deal. Fun, exciting stuff. And then Amazon will most likely be the first place people can find it. I do support if anybody buys them from me personally. You can do that via my website. I have a tendency to, again, overdo everything. This one is for one of my cousin. It's this, like, I found
So
this
cute.
adorable book tissue paper.
Oh my
I love
gosh.
that.
It's
That's
got
really cute.
that, and then, you know, because I just, like, again, went all out, there's a nice little black wax seal with my
Oh my
logo
gosh.
on there.
Oh my gosh.
It's
Get
a
it from our
vibe.
website, guys.
Yes. Oh,
Go
it's
to
like
the
a personal
website.
book box. I love it.
Yeah, there's a couple little stickers in there. There's a couple bookmarks. Yeah, so I have a tendency to try and personalize it a little bit more if people are going to go through me directly, because it is a little more work. It does take a little bit longer. Amazon, I realize, is quick, and I respect that. But
also support your indie authors, folks.
I know, right? Like, go to a local bookstore. We have a lot of local bookstores here in town that do great with supporting local authors. So I'm really excited that we chose one of the like small little cute bookstores here down. It's in Sun Prairie for anybody that is in the area.
Which bookstore is it?
Prairie Pages.
Honestly, that is so nice because it's very rare to find bookstores that are that generous with their space and time to indie authors. And like when you can find like a good relationship with somebody, like do it, because it's really hard to find as an indie author. So like if there's a bookstore out there supporting indie authors, shout out all day. Like, please support them, order online from them if you can. If you're not in Sun Prairie, like definitely support that bookstore, because that is really special that you have that.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I guess I should say. Like, so we already know there's a book 2 because I just had to. The part that people probably aren't going to pick up on right away, and this is a secret that I've been careful about how I've explained it. So through book 1, we are talking about this author, right? And there are book titles that are dropped throughout the book. So talking with my writing coach, we decided that I'm going to bring Margot to life and we're going to write those books.
That is so cool. So like you have
like-
fictional book titles in the book
Yes.
that you created. And so you
Yep.
are going to now
We're gonna write 'em.
those books.
That's very
So
Stephen
cool.
King-esque.
That is some Stephen King shit. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So
Mhm,
yeah,
for
it'll
sure.
be as if I guess had a pen name, but not
Ooh.
my alter ego.
Wait, are they going to be written by Margot?
Yes.
Shut up.
It will be her author name on the copy.
I'm dead.
Fucking love that.
So I was like,
So which
is
one's
it
first?
crazy if I want to do that? And she's like, that actually sounds really cool.
Yeah, it does.
Oh, okay, good. I'm glad my idea wasn't totally unhinged.
Oh my god. So now you're going to be like writing so many books all the time and it's going to be fabulous.
There's like at least this is the world of Margot Hale is probably like 4 or 5 books deep. I was like, there are so many other projects I wanted to get to. I guess we'll just have to, those will wait.
There's
So-
time. There's time for that. This is the project. That's so cool. That
I
is
love
so
crafting
cool.
your own world.
Yeah, in a sense, basically. But then I was like, okay, so how do we end this? Like, do I finally end the book with this twisted moment where Margot is struggling to understand that she is actually not a real person?
Do you have to figure that? Like-
It's gonna hurt my brain while I try writing this.
No,
This is some Inception
feel like you
nonsense
need to,
where I'm
like-
gonna-
Map it
You know what
out.
you need to do?
Postcards.
You know what you need to do? You need to write one of those books as her first.
Yeah, you do. You
Mhm.
need to do that next.
I think before you end it, you need to get in her head a little bit more. Like, you just write that book as her.
Even if you don't release it next.
Well, so
Or like a
in-
short story as, yeah, that's so
Yeah,
cool.
A
in this book right
novella.
now, in book 1, we follow her as she is writing a story of Genevieve and Reginald. It is very Regency romance like, but it's dark. It's like she ends up being, I think, a maid that he buys and turns her into his wife because his other wives died. And he needs,
Okay.
a wife to produce an heir while he ends up dead. And like I just like would throw little snippets of the book that she was working on throughout the story. And she's like, first of all, I didn't know you could write Regency romance. I'm like, what's that? She's like, Emily, you wrote it and you don't. No, I've never read Bridgerton or any of the books of that variety. She's like, well, you write it very well. So we need to write that story. So the
Yeah.
story she's writing in book 1, we are going to write. And that was going to be like a novella release. I think either write that simultaneously while writing book 2.
This is
And,
fabulous.
like, I think it's fascinating to like write a book from your character. Oh my God. Imagine if you made this like whole career. Imagine if you like went trad and made a whole trad career writing under Margot Hale and let's like actually relate it to like, I'm obsessed with this. I don't even want to tell people that. I don't want like,
You can cut
That's
like you
so-
can cut this episode to what little bits. You're like, we've got some teasers and we just can't share that right now because it's just too good.
I'm stunned.
such a cool idea. Yeah.
I'm
like
excited
mic
for
drop.
it.
We're gonna just like end the episode like right there and just let people just be like,
Wait, what happened? Yeah.
Yeah. That's that's pretty cool. And that'll keep you busy. Like, I feel like people like worry about not having the ideas. You have so many ideas.
And I learned how to do that from some interview I read from a different author that basically said, create a character. Go get some like dice of like, just roll the dice, create a character and give them a problem. The rest of the story will sort itself out. But
it's
You
brilliant.
just go.
So I have a notebook floating around here somewhere that's got all sorts of random characters of all genders, ages, varieties, living in sci-fi, this, that, and the other thing. And I'm like, well, we'll get to those eventually. But I guess if I ever run out of something, I've got the notebook to fall back on.
That's super cool.
so fun.
Well, honestly, you sold the book to me. Like, I think it sounds really cool.
Thank
The
you.
cover is beautiful. If you're listening to this, you've seen it because it'll be so in your face. But the care and feeding of dead mothers. Margot's career is unraveling, so is her mind. Are you kidding me? Okay, sold. I'll take it.
Dark and twisty. That's all we need.
You killed it. Yeah, you killed it. We're sold.
I'm excited to, like, I know your friends and family always feel like being nice, but it's when the strangers are like, this is my new favorite book. You don't even have to
Yeah.
be nice to me, and you are.
It'll happen. Like it'll happen. But allow yourself to feel like it's like a really fucking big deal, because it is. And enjoy tomorrow. Like, have so much fun.
It's gonna be great.
And yeah, we're so excited for you.
Thanks for listening to this episode of The Limelight. If you would like your book featured in an upcoming Thursday episode, please visit our website, margsandmanuscripts.com. Cheers.